You're tuned in to RBLR, the home of Tampa Bay's Reveler Sports.
4 seconds left. In front. Happy moment. The Tampa Bay Lightning have won the first Stanley Cup. And the Tampa Bay Lightning have won the Stanley Cup. Lightning strikes twice. The Tampa Bay Lightning win their second straight Stanley Cup.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to RBLR Lightning. As always, my name is Jake Ricker. Alongside me, it's Jose Caro, it's Matt Gannon. Guys, boy, do we have an episode today. We get to talk about the greatest show on ice. Dare I say, the greatest game in Tampa Bay history, the Stadium Series game. It was absolutely stupendous. We're going to break it all down. We got a lot to talk about in this game. So much has happened. But first and foremost, before we get into all that fun stuff, guys, how you doing today?
Hey, sorry to have missed last week, man. I caught a bug that put me down so hard that I had to rest up because this was such an important weekend coming in, having Gasparilla, and then like you said it, outside of championships being awarded, arguably like the biggest game that's really happened in Tampa Bay, not just the Lightning, but for all the franchises for a regular season game. I don't know if anything can even come close or match what we saw.
No, Joe, you had to rest up. I mean, Gasparilla is like the most important week of your life, and this game on top of everything. I mean, what a fun week it has been for Tampa Bay, the entire area. But man, I can't wait to get into the show and talk about this Winnipeg game.
Winnipeg game. Get out of here, man. Listen, the Lightning did play the Winnipeg Jets. They did win that game 4-1, another nice 2 points. But to be honest with you, we're going to skip that game. We're going to really focus on the Stadium Series game because of how unbelievably amazing it was. By the way, welcome everybody who's joining us live today. Don't forget to follow us on social media at RBR Sports, at RBR Lightning, so you don't miss out when we do go live and future content like that. But with you're here with us live, don't forget, drop your comments down below. We really want to hear from you guys in this week's episode about your thoughts on the Stadium Series. Already got some people hanging out with us here. This one from Cynthia saying, love the beanie. Yes, Joe's rocking the Stadium Series beanie. It's very, very nice. I got one myself too. I'm not wearing it today, but it's a nice beanie.
I was telling Eureka right before we went live that it's stupid expensive, right? It was stupid expensive for a beanie,
yes.
But it's one of those things that I knew that I'd be kicking myself and regretting it if I didn't make a purchase like that.
There's no question they are overpriced, and they, I'm sure, made a lot of money. I mean, as you guys can see, I am currently rocking the Stadium Series jersey here, which we've talked about at length and how, we're not huge fans of it, especially the TBL, but I'm a sucker. I bought it anyway, and I absolutely love it, especially because of what it ended up representing for this game.
Since you're showing it off too, I think I originally had stated that I thought that the Bruins had the better unis when they're originally shown. I was wrong.
We were so wrong about that.
Yeah, I mean, no, don't get me wrong. There's certain things about the jersey I still really am detracted by, but seeing them on the ice, the difference, the Lightning definitely won the fit competition for sure.
And Jeremy Swayman's setup, the goalie pads, just added to the already tire fire that it was. Again, I was in the same camp as you, Joe. I was like, maybe the Bruins jerseys were a little bit better, but no, seeing both in practice really, obviously we're going to be a little bit biased, but seeing the full kits for the Lightning really upped it for me. Seeing them on ice and playing in them really upped it for me. And then seeing the Bruins, it was just like, these did not age well.
I will say, John Cooper mentioned this in his press conference. They're saying that, both sides really popped. And the NHL has kind of leaned into this more color-on-color matchups lately. The biggest one to note was the Rangers and the Red Wings, I believe, is who really kind of put that into the forefront. I do like the color-on-color stuff, like the blue and yellow, really representing your teams. That was fun, but I'm obviously with you guys. I think the Lightning's jerseys are very, very nice. The colors are fantastic on this thing, by the way. It's literally just the front, the TBL, that I'm not crazy about. But like the Stadium Series patch on this thing, I mean, this 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Fantastic. You can see the logo on Joe's beanie there as well. Like, this is fantastic as well. There's so much to like about
I
this
think
jersey.
we all agreed that if you had the shoulder patch as the front logo, that would have been a bigger hit. I kind of like the idea of the opposite shoulder logo. Some of those like oranges and almost browns that you have on that would have been well incorporated into the overall design as an accent color. But yeah, I mean all the little features that are in it really ended up looking nice on the ice. And then I loved what Vasi did with his helmet because he kind of blended the colors together and in a way that looked like waves almost. I thought his helmet I thought looked amazing.
Did you guys see we're kind of be skipping around a lot today, but after the game, Vasi got presented with the custom helmet ESPN had made, which they gave to the winning goaltender, and it was half Lightning, half Boston, and then a little Stadium Series logo down the middle. It was pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Vasi joked during that interview when they asked him about, what do you think of the helmet? He's like, I kind of like one side more than the other. Which I did get a kick out of that. So
yeah, there's a couple of kind of like weird moments. It is an ESPN broadcast after all, so it seems like for as many years as they've been around sports, especially when it comes to hockey, they just do strange things like that. What the heck was that second intermission puck shooting sort of thing to tease donating like $1 million to charity, and like, oh no, you were on the opposite blue line and didn't hit a puck-sized space. I thought that was a horrible look.
So I'm glad you brought that up, Joe, because as much as I love this event, there were like two major things that I did not enjoy. That was one of them. I thought it was cool that they were like trying to donate more money and like they brought out Baker Mayfield and Higgins' dad and like that whole thing. But you're 100% right. They put all this money in front of them and like, just shoot it in the net. That's all you got to do for cancer research, this big cause. And it's that tiny little hole, which in all my times of going to Lightning games, I think I've seen somebody make it once.
And they're usually at center ice, not the opposing blue.
That's also another true statement. Like and then they at the end of it all, they're like, oh, we'll give you an extra 100,000. Oh, geez, thanks, guys. After you just said we might get an extra 900,000, like, that was really weird. I don't know where they were going with that.
ESPN's approach to hockey just gives the same vibes of meeting your girlfriend's parents for the first time. It's like everyone's just kind of on edge. It's really awkward. Like, I do think overall they did a really good presentation. Like, yeah, it was a little kitschy, corny, and just a little weird. But overall, I thought they did a really good job. But yeah, there were a couple moments there that were a little, and for the entire time they've had the rights where it's like they don't know what they're talking about. They're trying to be a little too casual, kind of be a little bit too explain everything a little too much, like nobody's ever watched a hockey game before. And I get they're trying to attract a newer audience to the game, being a newer broadcast rights holder, but still sometimes they do give off some weird vibes,
like trying to interview a player as he's going into the penalty box.
I thought that was funny though.
It's funny. Gensel got interviewed on his way to the penalty box because there was a TV timeout. Yeah, it's funny, but it's still just kind of like one of those things that you're trying. It's a little bit of a reach, right? I mean, I guess he wasn't going anywhere for a few minutes, so he was available.
I think the funniest part about it to me was how like good spirited Jake Gensel was. Like, it's not like, I don't know, personally, if I was getting 2 minutes and at the time biggest game of the year, I don't know if I'd be super, nice and fun and funny, with whoever's interviewing me on my way to the penalty box. So credit to Jake for keeping it in good spirits.
So I thought the best way to do this, guys, is kind of go through it, through the game from start to finish and just go. There's so many details to talk about through this whole event. And I want to kind of start, with the pregame festivities. And you guys are going to give me a different perspective because I was there at the game. I got to do media for this, which was a really, really cool opportunity. I'm very grateful for the NHL for giving us press passes for that. But you guys got to watch at home. I did not see any of the broadcast. But first of all, round of applause to Tampa Bay. Fantastic job. You guys showed up for this game. There were tons of people there. I know the pregame little area that they had was jam-packed. You guys should have seen the line. I mean, it was way, way down the street. Thunderbug at one point was running down the line, high-fiving everybody. He was running for quite a while. So just really cool to see all the people there. And by the way, remember, Matt, we talked about this last week when we showed the rendering of what the stadium was going to look like. And there was a lot of yellow in that rendering because they typically do like a 50-50 split. It was like 90-10 at that game. There were a lot of Lightning jerseys and Lightning Stadium Series jerseys specifically too. So just a round of applause to Tampa Bay for really showing up for this game. People tailgating, people getting ready for it, and all the Lightning fans that came to the game. That's just really cool to see another example of how Tampa is just truly a hockey city.
And not only a hockey city, but that much better than South Florida at being a hockey city. I mean, it might be jumping ahead a little bit, but just the sheer success that this entire operation was compared to what the Winter Classic was. Like, I'm not sure what went wrong down in South Florida, but it couldn't be night and day difference on the fan reception. Even Florida Panthers fans were just kind of, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But this, you're getting an just overwhelming support from many, traditionalist fans that think this shouldn't have been in Florida. They're kind of eating their words right now. I think a good game and a good presentation, just good everything all around, really helped shut that crowd up. And again, just a great showing out from Tampa fans. I mean, 90-10, that's a crazy discrepancy in fans right there. It was kind of hard to tell on the broadcast, but I guess, thinking back to it, you didn't see a whole lot of yellow in there. It just looked like a couple specks in that jam-packed stadium. Just a resounding success in pretty much every category.
Yeah, and there was obviously a lot of contributing efforts to it all. I mean, from the organizers that were trying to set up just the stadium in general, the crews that were working to get the ice work, set up properly, the weather for cooperating, obviously all the fans that took the energy from the day before at the parade and brought it straight to Raymond James Stadium. Everything about it just kind of ended up in one of those perfect storms to end up with a perfect game. In terms of entertainment value, I mean, it's hard to get more bang for your buck than what everyone was able to see. And yeah, if you're a Panthers fan, taking the rivalry out of it, just to being a hockey fan in general of a market, and their outdoor game not quite being, I don't know, wasn't hyped as well, I think, by the NHL. I don't think the presentation was put together as well for those fans, so I feel for them because it did seem a little bit underwhelming, where this had everything in order that, to have been the Winter Classic with all the themes. And it's kind of funny too. I don't know if you guys, how much time you spent on social media in the past,
fair bit,
24 hours now. Yeah, seeing everyone's
comments. I was on social media a lot.
but there's even like haters that are from, I think I saw a few from like Montreal and Toronto, like this, what's with the theme? What's the point of all of that? It's just a distraction from a game. They could have just played indoors. Like, look, guys, like, this is bringing energy and excitement in different ways and exposing it to people that would normally not have a clue, what sort of thing we have going on here in Tampa. So it's, it's really cool for the area. It's cool for everyone that lives here. And the fact that, the weather was like, really
perfect.
Cold. Yeah, I read that
it was pretty darn cold out there.
Yeah,
perfect for an outdoor game.
They had to heat the ice up.
Mm-hmm.
That's who would have ever thought? Thank God they had the capability to do so. But who would have ever thought in Tampa?
Yeah, no, I mean, again, it's just going back to proving all these doubters wrong. Like, again, perfect conditions for an outdoor game, or I guess a little too cold for an outdoor game. I think it even beat, games in North Carolina and maybe even colder than the Nashville game. Like, I know it definitely beat out some other, more those aren't really traditional markets, but colder climates. Like, you did not expect this in Tampa. So just a perfect timing there.
The games that they played in Boston, they put out a list, and because Boston's played in so many, it was colder than I think the last game the Bruins had played in, which was in Boston. And it was also obviously way colder than it was down in Sunrise. So yeah, this was a very cold, like on par with every other outdoor game.
That is
Yeah, I'd say the only thing that that could have set it over the top is for one of those snow flurries that we had the night before to
Yeah.
somehow make its way over. But I mean, with that wind, you know, fans were straight up troopers. If you're on that top of the 300s with the way that the wind can come through Raymond James, you know that you know, so I know that a lot of people are commenting that they're going to be wearing liquid sweaters in order to keep themselves warm, but it takes a lot to be able to push through that. And luckily, that game was entertaining to keep everyone in their seats.
I really, really wish, and I tried like hell to find a ticket that I could stomach affording, but I know I will never, ever forgive myself for not going to this game. I was already regretful with the Nashville game and this one, just the game itself. Like, it's an all-time game no matter where you played it, and to be able to miss out on this, I would have suffered. I would have been out there in a tank top and flip-flops and shorts and suffered through hours of this freezing cold to me. I'm a Florida boy. I mean, I do not care.
Degrees
Do not care. Yeah, I mean, I would have done it, you know, bare naked if I had to, if I could go back. I remember, you know, sitting on my couch and, you know, warm in my sweatpants and whatever. But I remember when it was 5-1, I was like, man, you know what? I guess I got a, you know, free $300. You know, I didn't have to waste my money on this game and stomach a loss. And that mood changed so quick. And now it is probably, you know, like a top 5 regret in my life, maybe top 3. And I've got a lot of them.
It was quite the event. There's no question about that. A couple of comments I do want to get to here as everybody's jumping in the chat. By the way, I love this comment from Ethan, because for those that don't know, Ethan is very entertained by Joe's hats, but this time it's a beanie. He says, "I'm so sorry for being late. Just got out of class and I'm on the bus. Glad to see Joe is back and with the beanie." So Ethan noticed. Glad to have
Thanks,
you here with us, Ethan. Comment here from Daniel as well, saying there was a lot of black and white Bruins jerseys in the crowd. Counterpoint, there was a lot of black and gold Lightning Gasparilla jerseys. I did see a lot of those out there, so that was kind of cool to see. Events like this always draw other fans. Saw Panthers, Devils, Flyers jerseys. Yes, that is also a very true thing.
But that's great.
Get all things.
That's great. I mean, this has always been a town that... Yeah, it's always been a town where people come to vacation, and you know, if you're from the Tampa Bay area, you know that especially during certain times of the year, you're going to have a lot of people coming in from out of town. We're used to it. I mean, you know, it wasn't too long ago that at Rays games that it'd be mostly Boston fans in the stadium. So we're used to it, and being hospitable is one of the things that I think that Tampa does a pretty good job of compared to certain other markets. Like, you know, go to a Phillies game without getting chased out wearing opposing jerseys. So, you know, I like seeing, you know, people from other areas come down, bring their money, and be able to watch, you know, something and enjoy our area where we get to live year round.
Yeah, we get to experience it every day. That's a great way to put it. Also, here's a great example of, you know, getting this game representation. This one from Ethan saying, last night's game was so good, my girlfriend's friend that was over locked in and they were yelling for more goalie fight. Hey, you know what? I love to see that. I love that people are getting to see. I saw a lot of people talking about that on social media, saying that, like, this was not just Lightning fans, considering it's one of the best Stadium Series games ever. And it was so good for the sport. I'm very curious to see what the ratings are going to be for this game, especially considering how bad it was at the start, for at least for Lightning fans. But I mean, it was such a good game.
I mean, you said one of the best Stadium Series games ever. I'd put it up there with, you know, one of the best outdoor games
ever. Correct.
I mean,
I keep saying Stadium Series, but outdoor.
It takes the cake for a Stadium Series. Like I don't know what you could argue with. I know there were some Red Wings and Maple Leafs games that ended in overtime and shootouts way back when. You know, you had
the first one with Crosby was a pretty good one. Pretty good finish.
What was it, back 2009 or whatever when they started doing it?
And also the novelty of it, and then you know Crosby, love him or hate him, he's one of the best of all time, and him putting the game on his stick in order to like that's very memorable. And the beanie actually that. Who was the goalie for Buffalo?
Ryan Miller.
Ryan Miller was wearing was just a spectacle, right?
No, I mean, you could definitely put it in the top 3 outdoor games of all time. Zero question about it.
Oh, man. Yeah, it was such a good game. A couple more comments I want to get to quickly here. Lisa Body say perfectly done. 100% agree with that. This one here from Mr. Magic. We'll remember this game for the rest of our lives. Yeah, I would say
on.
I agree with that as well. Let's see what else we got here. This one from Lisa. Agreeing with you, Joe. Yeah, Joe, I did a double take when they walked in. Which, speaking of that, we need to talk about the entrance for this game, because obviously that is one of the big first things for the Stadium Series games or outdoor games in general. The teams kind of have fun with their entrance. They will show up in some kind of fun theming. You remember not last year, but the last outdoor game for the Lightning when they were in Nashville, they did like a jean jacket country kind of theme, which was fun. I thought it was cool, but boy, did they blow it out of the water with this one. I want to get your guys' thoughts on these, but of course, the Lightning who came out and showed up in not just Tampa Bay Buccaneer creamsicle jerseys and helmets, but full pads in everything, full uniforms. Here's a look at it right here, one of the pictures. I mean, just
that picture's sick.
Absolutely fantastic.
I haven't seen that yet. That is so cool. You know what? To be honest, when they first came out, especially with Baker at the front, I thought those were the legit Bucks that just happened to be like they were coming to support the game, wearing their jerseys, and they looked kind of small. Like all the guys looked kind of small for football players.
Literally, it looks like a kicking squad.
I didn't know what I was looking at first. It took a couple watches to realize there was a number 77. Coming out front, and then seeing the back of Hedman's jersey was the first time I actually realized those were our boys.
Yeah, it's like Hetty, Nick Paul, and like Ryan McDonough are the only ones that kind of look like they belong, and then everyone else just looks like a punter or a kicker or something, or coach's son, something like that. It's so funny seeing the hockey players out of their gear. They're so big and burly,
and their arms don't have the right tan.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. No, like it always surprises me how unathletic they look, like especially goalies too. Sergei Bobrovsky and Andrei Vasilevsky, like you always see them in their giant pads, and when you see them out of it, you're like, that guy plays professional hockey. It's always so jarring to me. But man, I mean, what a walkout! I was taken aback because I was expecting, they're going to go with the pirate theme, but I was pleasantly surprised to see them out in the creamsicle uniforms. And again, when it was 3-1, 4-1, 5-1, I was like, wow, this really is a Bucks creamsicle game. And yeah. I was so glad that they ended up breaking that curse.
I will say that the Bruins coming out as like the Colonials, the Patriots, if you will, was pretty neat and kind of fit it was fitting of the theme too. If the Bolts went the pirate route, you basically had the people that were responsible for having goods shipped, and then the people that would steal the goods on the water. So that I thought that was a nice touch there. They've had so many opportunities over the years for different costumes that was a cool one.
Yeah, I think they one time in one of their outdoor games they came dressed up as like construction workers or something like that. I know one team did that. I think it might have been the Bruins or something. So that it's way better the whole colonial and patriot outfits, and it kind of paying cool homage to the Patriots in the Super Bowl too. So I got to give them their flowers there.
So you mentioned the Pirates. We got to talk to McDonough and Hedman, and they were still in their full Bucks uniform, which was pretty funny, in one of the pre-games. And they were asked about, how that idea kind of came up. It was actually really interesting to hear some of this. And they said, there's something that they talked about before. And obviously the easy go-to was Pirates. This is the Gasparilla theme. This is the pirate thing. We talked this at length. But they were like, they thought that was kind of too easy. They want to do something a little different. And they threw out some other ideas. Here are some of the ideas that they said they had thrown out there. And I'm very glad some of these did not happen. One was just kind of a Florida like swimsuit type of thing, which I don't think that would have been very good. Somebody mentioned wrestling was an idea because there's some famous wrestlers from Tampa, which isn't bad, but
that would have been actually pretty
that
cool.
I'm
glad
cool.
They didn't for this one because the pirate themes and the Bucks themes was great, but that would have been hilarious seeing someone come out with like like Macho Man, Randy Savage, like those traditional colors too.
But obviously they eventually settled on the Bucks, and they reached out to Baker, and they got all the help from the Buccaneers. And really, again, that's what I appreciate, that it wasn't just a jersey and a hat, like they full uniforms that they put on for these guys, which was really, really cool. And by the way, the biggest underrated part of the entrance for the Lightning that nobody is talking about is the Lightning pulled up not in buses, but in streetcars from the city. I don't know how they did this. I think they took a streetcar and just put wheels on it, but they came in streetcars, which is such a cool little detail. And I think that got completely overlooked. So that was a really, really nice detail.
I don't know if they even mentioned that in the broadcast at any point.
I don't know in the broadcast, but I saw it, and it's so cool. It's so Tampa core. Like it's just, it's unbeatable. I mean, I thought like maybe this week would rival, with all the festivities and everything, would rival the All-Star game in 2018 or whatever it was. But man, I mean, this has completely blown that out of the water. That was also a resounding success. I mean, the All-Star game during Gatsby week was crazy, but this, just everything about it is so core Tampa. I love it. I adore it. The streetcar, the Bucks uniforms, everything about it was just amazing. Well done.
And the Bucks uniforms works really well for two reasons, right? Because it's Raymond James Stadium, and that's where the Bucks play, and they're paying homage to the Bucks. And then also because the Bucks are still Pirates, and that orange creamsicle old school pirate logo, so it works in both ways, which I thought was great as well. By the way, Cooper was asked in the pregame press conference who he thought would be the best quarterback on the team. I don't know if you guys saw this clip, but you did. Matt, who would you guys pick? Is basically what I want to ask.
Ooh.
And I'll tell you what Cooper said.
You know what? Right now, recency bias is playing into a huge factor. But when I think of quarterback, I think of quarterback in the power play, and strong arm, Darren Radish.
That is not where I thought.
No, I'm thinking deep balls. I'm thinking that's really all I'm thinking of is just slanging the rock way downfield, and the way Darren Radish just bombs it from the blue line. That's what I'm thinking of. He might end up like Tua or something, where all he can do is throw it deep and have terrible reads. But that's my go-to. That's maybe not my guess for what Cooper said.
I mean, you weren't far off. Your reasoning was pretty close.
Is it Hedman?
Well, all right. So it was the quarterback of the power play really being Kucherov. But then he did actually say that based on physical size, that Hedman actually would probably be the person that could actually throw the ball and stay in the pocket best.
I guess when
Cooch and Hedman, Cooch's IQ and Hedman's body build is ultimately what his answer was.
Yeah, I guess when I think about it a little bit more, if I think of a good passer, I think of the best passer in the league being Nikita Kucherov, being able to make reads and look guys off and not use his eyes to use his eyes to throw people off. It would probably have to be Kucherov. Maybe hit the gym a little bit, but that's why he sticks to hockey.
Lisa, by the way, said Mac is that pick. That's not a bad one, McDonough. He's definitely a leader in that locker room, so I don't hate that. All right, as much as I want to keep talking about the entrances for these teams, we do have a lot to get to. We do need to move on. But it was very well done by the Lightning. I thought that was a great job, and credit to the Bruins too. We're nice, whatever. We'll give them a little bit of credit. By the way, everybody hasn't seen this. This is the look. For this picture, I think I thought it was. This was the picture from the game. I mean, oh my goodness, it looks so incredibly good. I mean, look at that, absolutely stupendous. The stadium looked fantastic. It looked really, 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 really nice. Oh, we need to talk about one pregame outfit too before that we found out during the pregame entrances and the announcing of the teams. Which, by the way, really cool that they got one of the actual crews from Gasparilla to do all the announcing the entrances. Thought that was a neat little touch.
So that's the official crew of Mystic Crew
right.
of Gasparilla. It's the head crew that actually puts on all the events, and so that they get a little bit more opportunities to do something special like this. And that is, I mean, think these guys aren't professional actors or anything, but they got to put themselves on a national stage with their crew and then be able to actually have dialogue during those introductions. That's got to be like an all-time high for those guys also, and I think they did a great job.
They did. They did a fantastic job. And by the way, I saw somebody in the comment section. I can't find the comment this time that says they weren't shooting the pirate ship off, and they only did it like at the end. They were shooting cannons on the what do you call it? The field level, I guess, which was shot off
The treasure map.
crew. Yes, on the treasure map. Well, that's a good way to call it. So they were shooting cannons. They didn't directly do it from the pirate ship all the time, but they did shoot cannons off. So I was appreciative of that during.
I heard
Good
that
enough.
there was like press on the ship or something.
That's
along
where
those
ESPN
lines.
was
They're doing
covering the
broadcast.
game.
And that's
Shocker,
why
ESPN
they had the
off
decision.
cannons.
I'm sorry.
Shocker, ESPN ruined us getting to shoot off. pirate ship.
But it's the thing.
Yeah.
It was the intermission crew and the pregame crew. Like, it wasn't the actual like play-by-play guys that were doing it from there. So it's like they're probably not there during the actual game. You know, maybe they're doing whatever else. But it's like, if they're not doing the show from the ship mid-game, why not fire it off? So whatever. We had cannons regardless. I'm not too upset about it. You said they fired it at the end, Jake, off the ship?
I believe I know they used it once or twice. They were shooting cannons off pregame testing things. So, but I'm pretty sure they did use it at one point or two. But they definitely shot the cannons off on the field.
I'll take what I can get.
The pregame, by the way, I thought was really well done. Just the entrance, the torches, and the teams coming out. You know, the lights in the stadium, the blue lights that they did, I thought was really good. And then, of course, you saw this. Things are going to look a little weird here for a second when I try to get this to cooperate here. But how about our guy, John Cooper, with what he was able to come up with for his coaching outfit? I mean, just I got no words, guys.
How do you not love this guy? I mean, you know, paying homage to everything Tampa, you know, that's been the theme of this so far. And then Cooper saying, you know, paying homage to Ybor City and, you know, the Cuban whole aesthetic with the cigars, the nice suits, the Tony Montana suit, really. Dude, I mean, it is unbeatable. This guy's aura is unmatched. I didn't know
Look
he
at
would.
that picture, man.
I had no idea how he would be able to top his get up from the Nashville Stadium series with the bomber jacket and the whatever hat you want to call it. But this is 11 billion times better. You cannot ever match this.
And I know that there were heaters on the bench to keep the guys from completely freezing down there, but to have like the open chest and stick with it the entire game when it was like getting below 40 degrees, you know, good on them, because that was pretty amazing.
Yeah, fantastic stuff by John Cooper as always. It was very entertaining to see that. It was, you know, it was a shocking thing too, because you kind of just weren't expecting it initially, but very funny. And he said, by the way, the roots for that come from him and the coaching staff likes to go out to Ybor and get cigars and stuff like that. So that's where that came from. And then he said it kind of just got out of hand and really ran away from him. But fantastic job as always. That was really, really well done by Cooper. So, all right, let's get into the game. We do need to talk about the game. And again, it's how great this event was, because we done 36 minutes on just the pregame stuff. That's how good it was. So when it comes to the actual game, though, you know, boy, again, so much to talk about. First period, Brandon Hagel scores 11 seconds into this game, which is the fastest goal in outdoor history and is tied for the franchise record for the Lightning. It's tied with two other players. I can't remember the one name off the top of my head. The other is Ruslan Fedotenko. But so ties a franchise record, scores the fastest goal in outdoor history, and you're just sitting there going, oh my goodness. And the crowd, by the way, were absolutely crazy. It was very loud in there. And what a start to that game.
I mean, it was a great start for that 11 seconds. I thought that the Lightning were about to just absolutely pile on, but wow, what almost like a disaster that happened immediately after that, where, you know, they ended up with, in that first period, they only had 8 shots, and that, you know, that first shot was one that went in, but Boston had 20. Boston like really turned it on come you know, after that goal.
I don't know if it was the broadcast angle. And actually, one quick note about the broadcast. They did a lot well, but the microphones, I don't think they did a very good job of. They needed some closer to fans or something. Everything was really muffled and coming, there were sounds coming on and off at different times. Like it was kind of weird, the noises in the game, but you couldn't really tell how, rocking it was in there. But Jake,
are you talking about the play on the ice or for the crowd?
Both. I mean, play on the ice, you could actually hear really well, but the crowd, you really couldn't hear too much. And it was just kind of weird fading in and out. And
it was just to do that with those types of games, just because maybe it is a little tough, and they do put the mics more at the crowd, not the crowd, at the ice level. So that doesn't shock me. But I promise you, Matt, it was rocking.
I bet you that it's got to be almost impossible for a sound engineer that hasn't done a game like this before, where you go from having mics in a different position that aren't picking up too much, then all of a sudden you have 65,000 people absolutely losing their minds, and the difference in actual sound volume that are reaching those microphones, they're probably just like up and down on the levels constantly. So it's not too surprising that they would have some struggles.
That's what it sounded like, up and down on the levels the whole time. But I'm glad to hear that it actually was a crazy good crowd. But moving past all that, it looked like after they got that first goal, which was already a little kind of a weird play, it was just a good shot from Hagel, but getting it to that position was already a little weird. From that point on, the rest of the period, it looked shaky. I mean, it looked like the ice conditions might have been a little rough. I know Nikita Kucherov was not too happy when he got his first couple laps on it, said it was not the greatest. McAvoy also didn't think it was great conditions, and it looked like they were really struggling to make any passes, to skate anything out. Like it looked like it was their first time playing in an outdoor game.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Boston looked like they adapted with it just fine and were doing great in that first period. Objectively, they were. They looked like they weren't hindered by anything, whereas it looked like for the Lightning, they were skating uphill. Once they got that first goal, I mean, everything changed.
To be honest, it might even be a function of the fact that the Boston Bruins play up north more, and when you have colder ice rinks, like the harder the ice surface becomes, the faster the puck ends up moving, and when the puck's extra frozen, it behaves a little bit differently. It doesn't bounce as much, but it acts a little bit strange. Like how could you describe it? Almost like a golf ball in a way, where usually when it's got the rubber. When it's a little bit warmer, it's got the rubber effect. It'll kind of dampen itself, where it gets a little bit pingy when it's super cold. So both teams had to adapt. I wonder if the Bruins just had a little bit more of an opportunity to play with, in different rinks up north that get too cold. Where if the Lightning definitely looked off their game for about half of it, with passing and everything.
That's exactly what it looked like. It just looked off. Like, yeah, there were some bad reads and maybe not some great, positioning, but for the most part, it just looked like they did not know how to play on this ice surface and how to adapt to it for the entire period. I guess it got better towards like the very, very end, maybe the last minute or so. But yeah, that was the biggest takeaway I can grab from that first period, was they are really having to learn how to play on this ice.
And it got ugly though, because they didn't know how to play on the ice. And the Lightning go down in this game. Obviously, Joe, as you kind of mentioned, it, 20 shots on goal in the first period. They're down 3-1, and it's already ugly. But then quickly in that second period, even Boston scores 2 more. They go up 5-1. And let me tell you, when I said the crowd was rocking early, they were not rocking anymore. There was a lot of panic, even myself, thinking, this was supposed to be such a big night for Tampa, and it still was, but like, it's just such a big damper to have what happened at the start of that game. And the Lightning looked absolutely terrible, couldn't get anything going. It was a rough start, not good at all. And boy, did it get worrisome that this was going to be an issue for this game. But then a couple of things started to change. You had the Lightning get a goal back. They make it 5-2. A lot of power plays start rolling in for the Lightning. Of course, you had that cross check after the Lightning made it 5-2, and a stupid play by Boston. I mean, what are you doing? Cross checking a guy after they score a goal. This gives the Lightning to the power play. And then the big thing, the real thing that I think turned this game around for not only just the fans, the vibes in the stadium, but of course, I am talking none other about the best of the best. Vasilevsky, Swayman going at it. Sorry, pictures look a little weird here because it's up the side, but I mean, oh my God, a goalie fight in the outdoors, unbelievable.
And the amount of camaraderie between the two goalies, kind of acknowledging each other. Neither of them, I think, were, they're definitely fighting, but it looks like they're also trying to protect each other. And you could tell from Vasi that he was making sure that, hey, we're having a fight right now. But then as soon as he went down, he wanted to make sure that he wasn't going to, he was protecting his back, patting him on the back instantly. Well done by both of them. Them laughing in the handshake line about this fight after too. But that absolutely energized the arena to a point that I mean, you could feel it where I live, which is like 1.5 miles away. I mean, it was going nuts, and it changed the game. I mean, that was a pretty big turning point.
I love, he was asked about it after the game, and he said he was grateful to Swayman, kind of like any up and coming enforcer is, fighting the big dog about, thanks for giving me a fight. Like, he was thankful for getting to fight Swayman. I'm sure Swayman was probably the same way. You don't see that every day. Of course, we got one, 2 weeks ago between the Sharks and the Panthers. But man, I mean, who does not love a good goalie fight? And it makes it all that much better that Vasi won the fight. Like, goalie fights are always weird and awkward, but he landed, two decent punches, and it was just such a beautiful spectacle. I mean, I was really curious as to what Swayman was thinking tackling Brandon Hagel, and I was wondering, where is he going? Because on the broadcast you couldn't see what was going on. Is he just skating to the penalty box? The goalies don't serve penalty. Oh, here comes Vasi, and man, I was screaming on my couch. It was crazy. And this isn't even the first time Vasi's squared up with somebody. It's his first fight, but it was against the Bruins a couple of years ago when Tuukka Rask was still playing. I forget what was going on.
Typical. And they broke up the fight.
I don't think it ever got to it. I think Vasi was standing at the red line. I don't think Tuukka ever even, or he might have been skating down there. And I think
I think he was skating. The linesman didn't even let him get close.
It sounds right, but it's not the first time that the Lightning and Bruins goalies have ever wanted to go head to head. But I'm so grateful that the linesmen and the refs were either too preoccupied or just let him go, whatever it was. Thank God we got to see that, because I mean, he could have retired 4 years ago and been a Hall of Famer, but this cements it. I mean, you got one career fight and one career fight win under your belt now. Man, oh, I love it. It was the best part of the game. I don't care. We could have lost, and it would have been the highlight.
It's true. It's true, because we said that in the press box. Like, even if we lose this game at this point, aren't able to come back, this is a highlight moment for this game. The crowd loved it, everybody into it. And, Matt, I know you mentioned on the broadcast you couldn't see where he was going. You saw this coming from a mile away at the game, because you saw Vasilevsky halfway up, and then you see Swayman start to go, and you're thinking, oh my goodness, it's going to happen. Here we go. And you're absolutely right, for Vasi to also win the fight. Like, that's big. I love this comment here, by the way, from Mr. Magic. Never pick a fight with a rush. You're absolutely right.
Dan had another comment along those same lines too. I think it was almost just before that, maybe.
Oh, yeah, right here. I love this one too. From Swayman should have checked the game notes before to find out that Vasi was a lefty. There was a lot of jokes that in the post-game press conferences of Vasi being a lefty.
I like the thought of that. Like, to check the notes. Okay, Kucherov tends to fake slap shots for power play, and Vasilevsky, when he fight, he's going to be left-handed. Like, that's something that you would you'd keep track of as a goalie, just in case you happen to see a goalie fight in the outdoor game.
I remember.
Did you hear what Kucherov nicknamed Vasilevsky?
White Tyson, baby. What a name.
Man, it's fantastic. It really did fire up the boys in that entire crowd, and was very, very special. By the way, Nino's right here. Radish almost derailed that fight. He did try to kind of grab Swayman, and the ref actually grabbed Radish and pulled him out of the way, and I don't think not realizing what was about to unfold. And very grateful that's how it played out. But
Radish could have undone all his goodwill he's earned this season by doing that. If that would have happened.
Yeah, you're probably right, Matt. So that fight happened. There's a lot of penalties handed out. Nobody got an advantage on that, but the Lightning were still sitting on a power play. And then, all those penalties to the Bruins. But the key here was the timing of these goals. Lightning started to score. Obviously, the power play has been an issue for them all season long, but boy, was it clicking tonight. And the fact that they were able to score these goals when it was still a 5-on-3, and they were able to do them because there was only about 20 seconds left, I believe, on the 5-on-3. They got 2 goals, and then they still had a power play after that. So to have all that momentum, to score that quickly, have a full power play, and then end up not scoring on it, but to make that a 1-goal game after this absolutely ridiculous second period, you could just tell all the momentum had completely gone from the Bruins. The Lightning were feeling it. They were playing a little bit better now. The crowd was really into it. And that was such a big turning point, especially scoring early on those power plays. And really nice job by the power play. They looked fantastic.
They did, and let's talk about the penalties a little bit, because I know it's something that the Bruins themselves and their fans are going to be very frustrated about, and understandably so for maybe 1 or 2 of them. There was like a cross check to the back of McAvoy that wasn't called and ended up assisting on a play, but the Bruins really kind of shot themselves in the foot over and over again, because there's automatic calls that when you close your hand on a puck, the ref's going to see that. You can't close your hand on a puck, hold it for several seconds, and then slide it out. They're going to see that all day. And same thing with Swayman knocking the puck out of play. What do you want the refs to do, right? You can't really take that away. You can go over to saying that they may even been handed a penalty with Dominic James on his muffed shot follow through that I don't think should have been a penalty. But then again, the tripping on McDonough, that was a little bit of a weak one right after in order to basically take away that power play from him. So, let's see, what was the other one? Jeannot for interference. Jeannot put his stick in a terrible position and took Gensel out. What are you going to do? He had a clear path to the puck. And then there was one more that was a pretty good one, the hooking on Nick Paul. Nick Paul was about to be that was a good penalty to actually take, because he was about to be one-on-one.
That was going to be the game winner.
Yeah, absolutely. So, when you take, give opportunities for refs to even up a game, and you have I think the Bruins are one of the most penalized teams in the league right now. They're the most
coming into the game.
Yeah. All right. So, that's gonna happen. If you give them the opportunity to make those calls. Do I think that maybe 1 or 2 of them possibly could have, they could have eaten the whistles on? Sure, but it wasn't like they, again, you knock the puck out of play. What are you doing? You hit somebody after they score a goal. What are you doing, man? You're making it too easy on the refs, and it's your responsibility as a player to not give the ref an opportunity to give the other team a power play.
I don't think you can argue any of them weren't penalties. Closing your hand, the tripping, the trip on Gensel. Did Swayman even get a penalty for tackling Brandon Hagel? I don't know if he...
No, but McAvoy got 2 minutes for roughing. So Hagel got a slash on Swayman, which it was. But if they would have left it alone, Boston gets a power play.
It was a late.
And McAvoy got a rough. Yeah, and McAvoy got a rough on Hagel. What Swayman got was leaving the crease and fighting.
So going even further, the hooking against Nick Paul, again, a good penalty to take, but objectively a penalty. The slash in overtime on, who was it, JJ Moser that got slashed? Yep. It was right on the hands, textbook slashing. Like, I don't think you can call any of these really gray area penalties. Maybe the tripping on McDonough, like you said, that might have been a makeup call for that, which I think is totally bogus, high sticking call, which was, whatever. He didn't shoot the puck. He made contact with the puck. I think it's a follow through all day. So that might have been a bit of a makeup call. I think that's the only one that you can say wasn't objectively a black and white penalty.
I think that a lot of the Boston players and fans were complaining that the Lightning didn't get called.
What did they do?
Well, there's a couple of plays where I can understand it, where right before the hand pass, or closing your hand on the puck to knock the guy down the way he was knocked down, it looked almost like a cross check, but it wasn't clean enough. It just wasn't enough for the refs to say, hey, this is a penalty, we're going to alter the game, and play continued on.
Yeah, my argument is that they didn't call gray area penalties, maybe aside from that trip on McDonough. trip by McDonough, on McDonough, sorry. All the Boston penalties that did call were objective. Like, I don't think they were discretionary calls. I mean, maybe the interference on Geno or something, but to me,
his stick literally tripped him, and that was a clean.
People are saying Gensel dove, so
no. So all right, so I can understand. Let me just clarify that for a quick second. The reason it looked like Gensel dove is because the stick got caught on the backside of a Boston player's leg, which made it an immovable object. So right when he goes through it, he's not going to just like easy fall forward. He's going to like do like a jump because it's going to literally force his momentum up to make it look like a dive. But it wasn't. It straight up wasn't.
My favorite argument, sorry, Jake, I'll let you get to it, was the Nick Paul. He held the stick. And I love that because you have a chance to ice the game. You have a chance to win the game.
Be the hero.
Be the hero. And you're going to, I'd rather get 2 minutes and, take a chance instead of the one-on-one with the goalie. I thought seeing that argument was really, really funny.
There's absolutely no legitimate hockey player that is going to dive rather than have the chance to win an outdoor game in that fashion. There's not a single one on any team in the NHL.
Oh, yeah. No question. The bottom line is the Bruins put themselves in a very bad spot. They shot themselves in the foot. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And to the Lightning's credit, they took advantage. They saw the opportunity. They saw the momentum, and they ran away with it. So credit to them coming back in this game. You go into overtime. By the way, the Cooper's explanation on the weird situation in overtime when the Bruins thought they had scored to win it, you couldn't hear the whistle, obviously, from far away. That's another thing. I was never going to say anything about the penalties because I'm pretty far back. It's very hard to see. It's very different when you're watching on the broadcast, but there was a whistle that did get blown. It was a late whistle. I still do not know why the referee did not blow his whistle.
It wasn't though.
Well, no, there was no whistle initially. Like you saw the hand go up, but they kind of took a second to blow that whistle. It should have been blown dead quicker. It was blown though. So, and that was basically the explanation that you could hear it on the ice. You could tell there were like 3 players that just kind of gave up on the play. And then people kind of started panicking like, wait a minute, what happened there? Hagel had a funny explanation too. He was like, I thought the play was over. And then he's like, oh shoot, I got to do a 2-on-1. And he said, guess it didn't go too well because they ended up scoring. Which I thought was pretty funny. But
no, I've seen people say the ref blew the whistle as soon as the shot got off or whatever, as soon as it hit the post, whatever happened with the puck. And then when Boston actually got possession of it, they were damn near at center ice. Like that's a long time for the puck to go from the goalie all the way to center ice. Like that's when they got clear possession. That's when they blew the whistle. That's when I first heard it. But even seeing it live, I saw Kucherov just completely die off on the play. I was like,
that's also Kucherov though, so you never know.
Yeah, so I was like, man, I mean, I know he can be a little lazy sometimes, but this is a 2-on-1. Like, what is he doing? Then I see the hand up. I'm like, oh, cool, a penalty. And then I'm like, wait, what's going on here? And then I hear the whistle go. And obviously the Boston players didn't. Probably a statement to how loud it was in the stadium there, but eventually
on the broadcast you could hear it well before as they were crossing the blue line. The whistle was going several times at that point.
They definitely blew it. Yeah, no, there's no question about that. Could the ref have done it a little bit quicker himself? Maybe, but there was a whistle, and that's the bottom line. So it's not like that goal was ever going to count. But then the shootout, of course, which by the way, funny enough, that the coldest game that Tampa has ever played and that Tampa Bay has just experienced, period. And it goes into overtime and a shootout to have the fans sitting out there longer in that cold weather. I know people don't love the shootout, but I think for this game, to have the goalie fight, the power plays, the comeback, all the different things, and then also show off overtime and then a shootout too. Like he had literally everything. And then of course Jake Gensel is the one who scores the goal for the Lightning. Bassey makes the save with 65,000 people chanting his name to win the game. Just an absolutely storybook ending to that game for the Lightning to get the win, to get that extra point.
It had it all. I mean, the overtime, it was crazy, with that penalty. Again, the power play looking really good with a 4-on-3. I'm shocked none of those went in. I think there was Cooch even sailed one off the crossbar too. That was, it was labeled to go in. It was kind of a casual shot, but I was shocked that
It was a tricky shot.
it
You
really
didn't expect
was.
him to shoot from there, and all of a sudden he almost puts it almost top shelf.
Going back to what I was saying about using your eyes to throw off the DBs and whatever as a quarterback. I mean, I was not expecting a shot there. I was surprised when it did hit the post, but for once it kind of seems like you were the better team in overtime. Obviously, a power play is going to help you, and then when the shootout came, I mean, I usually am a huge hater of the shootout, but I think it was just a perfect way to end the game. Get all the fans get their money's worth. So what if you're suffering in the cold? You're getting double extra time. And man, just the big cat coming up huge in the shootout. Sucks. Gage Gonsalves and Nikita Kucherov both got stopped on the shot, but clutch jeans and Jake Gensel, man, what a shot that he had. It was perfectly placed.
All right, so I just tasked Eureka with doing a little bit of research for us because we're talking about how cold the game was and everything, and he's still digging in a little bit, but there's an outdoor game that the Bucks had where the temperature has only played one game that was under 50 degrees, and that was on November 2nd, 2020, in a 25-23 win over the New York Giants. So if the temperature dipped below 39 degrees, which is what the temperature was for that game, then this was the coldest game ever played in Tampa Bay. Which would be a pretty cool stat and fitting for it to be for our hockey club.
Right. One stat that I liked seeing was that the John Cooper has more wins in Raymond James Stadium this year than Todd Bowles does.
Aww.
I wasn't going to bring that up to attack our fellow Tampa Bay team.
It makes me sad, but it's funny.
It's not an incorrect statement. But the Lightning get the win. They get the 2 points, and you go into the whole thing of the Lightning played a really bad start to this game, but hey, they came through late in the game. But just it's 1 out of 82 for this game, for them to win it in the way they did. You really could not have drew it up any better. Fantastic stuff for Tampa. And this Stadium Series game, from the production, from the game, just everything in between was so incredibly well done. And I know we're kind of going long here, but there's been so much to talk about. I do want to jump into our 3 stars of the game. Because normally do them of the week, but really this has been the focus of this episode. So let's get to our 3 stars. And I think you guys are going to like our 3 stars. So let us know, get in the comments down below. Who do you want to see? Do you agree? Do you disagree? But here is our list. Guys, number 3 star, a little bit different this time. It's not a player. But I think this is a no-brainer. John Cooper gets the 3rd star of this game for his outfit, for everything he's done for Tampa Bay, the way he's been able to coach. 3rd star for John Cooper. Well done.
And no small feat bringing the boys back from the largest deficit they have ever overcome. It takes a lot to rally the troops to do that and to look like a pimp while you're doing it. Oof, man, he was definitely out there performing.
Total aura. I really hope he busts that suit back out, during the Stanley Cup parade this year. That would be great. But I mean, man, yeah, you said it, Joe. What a way to rally the troops, keep everybody calm. I didn't see him panicking or look angry, whatever it was, the entire time. He just looked. I mean, he looked like the coolest guy in the building the whole time. So man, just cool, calm, and collected. Cooper always is. What a coach. We're so blessed.
I will say John Cooper did mention in his post-game press conference, he joked that, after that first period, he kind of wanted to come back out in a hazmat suit after he, came out that outfit and things weren't going well, but he did stay cool, and they come away with the win. So John Cooper gets the 3rd star here. All right, going to the number 2 star, back to the players. This guy who has just been an incredible run. I need to pull up the stat that I was sent today too, because it's absolutely absurd. But our number 2 star goes to Nikita Kucherov, another multi-point game. It is absolutely ridiculous what this guy does night in and night out.
I was bummed he couldn't get that 5th point. I wonder what the record is for most points in an outdoor game. He might have, tied it or, gotten real darn close with it. But I mean, he was the reason we got back into this game at all. Like, this team only goes as far as Kucherov will take him. Just another game, another week, another month of just sheer dominance and brilliance from Nikita Kucherov. I think it was 34 points in 14 games he had. Somehow didn't make the NHL's Star of the Week this week, but they might have got tired of putting him on that list, but I am not tired of putting him on this list. He was incredible this game, and he continues to shock me every single day.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the stats, he's slowly reeling in both Connor McDavid and definitely Nathan MacKinnon, who he's only 5 points fewer than at this point, and 9 from Connor McDavid. But it'd be really hard for him to actually close that gap. But the fact that he came from so far down and just been performing at an unreal level, of course he's going to come and show up for the outdoor game. And man, did he ever.
Here's the stat for Nikita Kucherov. He now leads the NHL in points per game. Let me ask you this, guys. How many points do you think Nikita Kucherov has in his last 22 games?
Over 2?
No, how many total? How many total points?
56.
Total points in his last 22 games.
Oh, I mean, I guess I'm still right, but I thought you said points per game over his last 22. Sorry, Joe.
He leads the NHL in points per game now, but specifically in his last 22 games, how many points does he have?
You said 56. I'll go Price is right. 55.
50. Just a little bit over, but 50 points in 22 games. I mean, how?
He got off to such a slow start. And then, sure enough, like, he can't keep it up. Like, there's no way that you can be that much a magician and just keep it up. Because we know what McDavid does. We know what MacKinnon does. Their sheer effort and Kucherov's game is so different. It's still amazing.
I'm sad that Pavel Datsyuk stole, or, he originally is still coined the Magic Man. But, man, I mean, Kucherov is really, in my opinion, maybe a better deserving player for that name. And no disrespect to Datsyuk. He is an amazing player. But I think what Kucherov does with the puck is just slightly more magical.
All right, time for our number one star of the game. And this was a no-brainer after what happened. And we talked about it a little bit already, but how could you do anybody else? It is none other than Andrei Vasilevskiy, who, even though he let in 5 goals initially, the goalie fight, he ends up getting the win, making a big save in the shootout. Andrei Vasilevskiy, take a bow. Absolutely fantastic stuff.
Let's face it, it's not for his stats that he's winning this, right? It's not because of the save percentage. It's because of the performance he put out on the ice, where he did shut down the game in the second half. They had us in the first half, I'm not going to lie. and then that fight that got everybody out of their seats and completely changed the energy, not just for our team, but for our town and everybody that was inside Raymond James Stadium. Wow, and thanks for the memories, man, because that's going to be something I'll never forget.
Yeah, the pictures of this I would love to have framed as big as they can in my room of him pounding Swayman's face. And Jake, I think you said his name wrong. It's actually now Andrei Vasilevskiy. Dude, I was so shocked. I know we kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but when we grabbed him with the right, I was like, does he know how to fight? And then when he started swinging with the left, I was like, oh my God, I had no idea. I again liked Daniel's comment about checking the game notes of the goalie's handedness. But yeah, Andrei Vasilevskiy is now what we're going to start calling him.
Andrei Vasilevskiy, that's great. Another name for me to try to remember pronounce correctly. Like all Russian names aren't hard enough. Jeez. No, Andrei Vasilevskiy, a well-deserving first star for that moment in that game alone. There's our 3 stars: John Cooper, Nikita Kucherov, Andrei Vasilevskiy. Let us know down in the comments below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Would you have done somebody else? We'd love to hear what you guys have to think, as always. But unbelievable game for the Lightning, the Stadium Series in the city of Tampa. Guys, I'm sad it's over. I'm sad it's gone. I'll be watching these highlights for a long, long time. One way you can continue to celebrate though, just city of Tampa and repping everything that we got over here. Head over to shop.rblrsports.com and use code BOLTS to get 10% off your order as well. Lightning, Bucks, Rays, Rowdies, team-inspired merch, you name it, we got it. Links, as always, are in the description below. So for the Bolts here now, quickly. By the way, the final attendance for this game was 64,617 fans, which is unreal. Very, very well done. It was a little smaller because they took out some of the seats for the performance of Tim McGraw. By the way, Tim McGraw, super nice guy. Performance was okay. I really didn't think he was the right pick for that type of event, but that's neither here nor there. It's not the most attended game in Lightning history. That is the Stadium Series game in Nashville. Because remember, they play in the exact same stadium, essentially, as the Bucks do, but they're not taking any seats for that game. So a little bit smaller there, which is kind of a bummer. But still, 64,000 people showing up in Tampa for an outdoor game. And boy, was Phil Esposito ever right when he was ready to bring hockey down to Tampa Bay.
I'm glad you brought that up, Jake. I know it was a bummer that, Jeff Finnick couldn't be here to watch, his team get to do this, but man, I mean, who could be prouder than Phil Esposito right now? I mean, prouder of himself, proud of the Lightning, in general, to see this unfold and be such a resounding success. I mean, credit to Phil. God bless him. I mean, this whole thing couldn't happen without him, and I'm glad he got to call the game too. I know he's doing less and less and less now, but man, hearing him and Mish up in the booth again, just great to see this whole thing unfurl through Phil's vision. What a great guy.
That's well said. And it's sad that Vinnick wasn't able to come down. Obviously, we all wish him the best after breaking his leg like 2 days ago, and not being able to travel with the team. That's rough. And he was obviously a huge driving force to get the outdoor game to happen. But at least there was like Gary Bettman in all the interviews that he was doing, giving praise all over to the organization that we have here. So that was pretty neat as well.
The coolest thing about it for me too is that you have proved you can do it. There's a way greater than zero chance you get another one. It might be some time. It might be over a decade probably, but there is definitely going to be another outdoor game in Tampa sooner than later. So,
well, you mentioned that, Matt. I need to get to this comment here from Daniel, because I thought this was saying that they should do this, but it sounds like it actually happened. He said signs off 275 today asking the NHL what's next, which if that's I didn't see that. If that's the case, that's hilarious, because for those that don't remember, they basically, after the All-Star game, had put up similar billboards, and that kind of kicked off their campaign to get the Stadium Series game in Tampa. So that's really cool if they did that. It's pretty funny.
Where do you see his theory with his next comment?
Well, let's pull it up here. That's how they started the campaign for the outdoor game. I wonder if that's to start the campaign to be a host for the city for the World Cup of Hockey. Maybe. The World Cup of Hockey, though, I feel like is not that. Well, I mean, it's becoming
it was a huge success. Countering the Olympics. If you do it every 4 years, so you get the the on off, because the All-Star game right now has obviously gotten pretty stale. But that would be pretty neat. That'd be cool to have it as the host city.
I think they would probably try and do a bigger, more traveled to city. I mean, Tampa's, a medium-sized city in the grand scheme of things, but like a New York, a Toronto, something a little bit more traditional for hockey. Like, I think it'd be cool, but I think there's probably better choices. And, if it's not about the Lightning, I don't care. I'll just take another Stanley Cup Finals here. That'd be great.
Man, anything. More outdoor games, more All-Star games, more Stanley Cup Finals. I want it all. Tampa Bay has shown that they could do it and do it right. Quick comment here from Mr. Magic before we wrap up here shortly. Is the All-Star game still going to happen next year?
Yes.
Yes.
Long Island.
Bouncing around right now where it's, they're doing the Olympics, they're doing the Four Nations, and then sometimes they're doing the All-Star game. So at least it's not every year kind of thing. So now will it continue? Who knows? But I do quickly want to get to the upcoming schedule here for the Bolts, because, guys, we got 2 more games at Benchmark International Arena, where the Lightning will be playing the Sabres at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Plus national game on Tuesday. And then on Thursday, they play the Florida Panthers at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, again on ESPN Plus. And then you're going to have the long-awaited break, 2 weeks off, almost 3 weeks for the Lightning, where we're going to be going to the Olympics. So 2 more games before the big Olympic break. That's what's coming up here for the Bolts. course, they're still fighting for, not really fighting for a playoff spot, but they're trying to stay in first place because Detroit has played so many more games than the Lightning. I don't know how that happened. But still big games coming up for the Lightning.
I never would have expected to say that a game against Buffalo is a big game, but no, it really is. Like, you've built a pretty good lead ahead of these teams, points percentage wise, but still you got to win all these games. Still, you got to let the Avalanche win the President's Trophy. I'll take second place in the league standings, but man, you got to build these points up in the East. And yeah, Buffalo, they're proving themselves to be a potential playoff contender right now. And then of course the Florida Panthers, that's a game you just have to survive. I mean, again, I think the Panthers are going to be a little angry about some of the snubs for the Olympics. It's the last game before the Olympics. Oh no, we injured Anthony Cirelli, who's already injured. Oh no, Brandon Hagel, just sit him that game. Just sit him that game because they'll try everything to take him out. So two pretty important games. If you can just get 2 points against the Panthers too, and just keep them down in the standings, I'll be a happy boy.
Yeah, I mean, you've kind of said it all. Take some points away from the Panthers and don't get injured. And guys, don't get injured during the Olympics. It's all fun and games compared to our Tampa Bay Lightning team. So
play your hearts out. Go Team USA. Don't get hurt.
There you go.
Real quick before we wrap up, speaking about Team Canada and Bolts players, and any word on Cirelli? I know he didn't finish the game. He left in the first or second period or something. So
no real update on him. You know how these things go, especially with someone like John Cooper. They didn't have to say much. They're not practicing today because they had the day off, I believe. So we'll probably find out more tomorrow. But it's not ideal. He's kind of grabbing at his ribs, I believe. So we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully he's going to be okay because you never want those guys to have to miss a big event like the Olympics. So, but we will update you as soon as we know more. Be sure to follow us on social media at RBR Sports, at RBR Lightning. We'll be recapping the rest of the Lightning's week here before we get set for the Olympics. I'm sure we'll be doing some more episodes talking about the Olympics and the Lightning making their splash there. So a lot to look forward to. But guys, that's going to do it for us in this episode. Thank you so much to everybody for tuning in with us once again. But with that said, that's going to do it for this episode. We'll see you guys in the next one. Go Bolts.
Thank you for tuning into this presentation by RBLR Sports. On your way out of the stadium, please remember to like and subscribe.